What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 57 of the MudWatch Sports Podcast on this Monday, March 3rd, 2025. I'm your host, Zach Malamu. Before we get started, please subscribe below. Follow all of my social accounts. After a small break, we are back. Let's start things off in the NBA as the New York Knicks were in action this weekend and a big-time win on the road down in Miami in overtime. The Knicks win this one 116-112, and they take down the Miami Heat, who have had a poor year, obviously trading Jimmy Butler, getting a couple guys in, and it's been a down year in the end. And the Knicks, in the first half, looked like they were going to get a bad loss here and one that they really would want back, as they were down by a lot at halftime, 17 to be specific there, and just a bad first half overall. And what a comeback the Knicks made. The third quarter, they outscore the Heat by 11, and then they outscore the Heat by 6 in the fourth quarter. Forced overtime. Knicks had the lead late in the fourth quarter, but the Heat did a great job of coming back, and Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo definitely a big part of that for the Heat. And when you look at the Knicks on their side, how about Jalen Brunson? What a player. 31 points in this one. And how about a player that when you need a bucket in crunch time, late in the fourth quarter, late in overtime, you got your guy there. Jalen Brunson is terrific when it comes to clutch moments and one of the best in the NBA. There's not many guys in the NBA that you want more on your side in crunch time than Jalen Brunson. He just continues to find ways to deliver and finds ways to win the Knicks plenty of games, and he's done a great job so far this season of that, and especially it was proven last night once again with those 31 points, and a lot of those coming in the second half, just building that comeback. What a player Jalen Brunson is, and obviously the Knicks are not where they are right now without a guy like Jalen Brunson. 40-20 on the year they sit. They're coming off of a big win as well in Memphis, a late one that they took down the Grizzlies 114-113. OG Anunoby sinks a late three-pointer, 5.3 seconds on the clock, and the Knicks get another win there. They're on a 3-game win streak right now, and a great way to bounce back after a couple losses last weekend to Boston and Cleveland. And when you were looking at the Knicks then, you're not too positive on the outlook of the season overall. And later in the season, later down the road, yes, they are going to have to run in to a team like Boston or a team like Cleveland. But for right now, you just got to be really happy. And obviously the Knicks, once they get to that 50-win mark, you're hoping to close down and lock down that number 3 seed. You have to worry about a team like Boston or a team like Cleveland later in the year. But for right now, enjoy the moment, because this Knicks team is getting through everybody else except for Boston and Cleveland. That's just one problem on their radar, and obviously that's something that they're going to have to focus on later down the road. But for right now, enjoy the moment. This Knicks team is on a roll, and they win another couple of games as they defeat the Heat as well as the Grizzlies in the last couple of days. And let's preview tomorrow's game as they now settle off on this road trip that they were on, the 2-game road trip against the Heat as well as the Grizzlies. They come back home for one before they head out west. And you're expecting maybe this one should have been on the West Coast as they take on the Golden State Warriors, and a 7:30 start at MSG. Golden State is 32-28 on the year. Knicks are 40-20 right now. And when you look at this one, Karl Anthony Towns, a game time decision, probably should be in for this one. Jonathan Kuminga on the Golden State side is out for this game. And right now, actually listed as out, could end up being back for this game. He's listed as outright out for now for this one, but we'll see what happens, and may make an appearance in this one. We will see. But obviously the Knicks, this is one that they hope to take, and Golden State's been on a good solid run right now. However, they did lose their last game in Philadelphia as a bad loss that they take to the Sixers. Obviously this Warriors team started off with a struggling record and was not playing well, but then they start to pick up wins. Obviously, Jimmy Butler being a big part of that, adding him to Steph Curry and Draymond Green and crew. And the Warriors did have a good 5-game win streak, won a lot of games, and they actually won 7 of their last 8 before that loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. So they need to bounce back after that loss, but going to the Mecca, probably not the best recipe to find a win, as the Knicks are rolling right now, like I said. So this one should be great. Steph at the Garden. Make sure you tune in as 7:30 start tomorrow, and it's the Knicks taking on the Warriors at MSG. Let's switch things to baseball and some news out of the Bronx and down in Tampa. Luis Gil has been shut down for at least 6 weeks with a lat strain, and this one a big loss for the New York Yankees. Obviously, Luis Gil, one of the great players for this Yankees team a season ago and the Rookie of the Year in the American League. He will be out for a little while, and obviously this one's a big loss, like I said, for the New York Yankees. However, when you look at the positives for the Yankees, they really built up this starting rotation. They have a lot of depth as well that they can go to. And a guy like Marcus Stroman, who all the noise of probably getting traded and the Yankees wanting to dump his salary, all of a sudden they're going to need a guy like Marcus Stroman to come in and be that 5th guy in the rotation. And that's a little bit better, I would say, for the Yankees. You're looking at a guy like Stroman that probably has a fire under himself to really prove the Yankees wrong here. And really all the noise that was coming in, he was very frustrated, showed up to camp a little bit later than a lot of the guys just based on frustration. Didn't have to be there, wasn't mandatory, but a lot of the guys showed up. Stroman was not one of them, and obviously took some time to himself and really thought about it. He's been at camp ever since then. And I do think this is a great sign for Marcus Stroman, a great sign for the Yankees overall in terms of Stroman. However, big loss, like I said, to Luis Gil, and not something that you wanted earlier in this season. And obviously, a couple of months he's going to be out. He's really going to be out for at least 6 weeks. But then you're talking about the revamping period and really getting going once again. And not a great sign if you're a Yankees fan for that one. But that's why they play a full 162 long season for it. But obviously the Yankees down one starting pitcher. And of course, the trade of Nestor Cortez. They do bring in Max Fried. So some guys that they have here, but they also lost some. So definitely something to monitor for the Yankees. But Marcus Stroman has his spot in the rotation back, it looks like. And Luis Gil is shut down for 6 weeks. The Yankees also dealing with a Giancarlo Stanton problem. He's not going to be ready for the regular season, not going to be ready for opening day, as he's out with tennis elbows in both of his elbows. He's also been up in New York due to a personal matter, but obviously with those tennis elbows and not feeling comfortable just yet to swing the bat, he's going to be out for a little bit and definitely going to miss opening day, as the Yankees announced that the other day. So Yankees, a couple losses earlier in the season, and they have to really find ways to make up for those losses, and a couple big pieces in Luis Gil and Giancarlo Stanton, both out for the start of the season. And DJ LeMahieu's also dealing with a calf problem. They got some relievers who are dealing with injury. So something that the Yankees are monitoring, and obviously the injury bug is going to come. It is baseball. It is early, and definitely spring training, the time to revamp, but of course a time that there's going to be plenty of injuries to guys who definitely struggled to get back to 100% right away. So this one, a big loss for the Yankees. Luis Gil out for at least a couple months, and the Yankees need to find some more options as they look towards opening day later in the month of March. From the diamond to the gridiron, as the New York Giants have made some noise this week in the state of New York, and definitely some noise around the NFL, as of course the Giants have been looking for a quarterback, and they looked at Matthew Stafford a week ago, and obviously he reached a deal on Friday with the Los Angeles Rams to stay there for a little while longer. But the Athletic's Diana Rossini reports that the Giants have interest in soon-to-be free agent and current Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers. What are the Giants doing here? The Jets obviously are done with Aaron Rodgers. New regime coming in with Aaron Glenn, Darren Muji, and they're ready to move on from 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. On the other hand, what are the Giants thinking here? As they've seen Aaron Rodgers the last couple of seasons, of course, the Achilles injury in year one with the Jets, and then last year, the Jets were not great, 5-12 record. Rodgers, yeah, had a solid season down the stretch, but he's 41 years old. And this Giants team is trying to start fresh. This Giants team is not going for it and just needs a quarterback fill-in to get the job done for them. They need a lot. And this team is not good enough with just Aaron Rodgers coming in to all of a sudden be a solid team in the NFC. It's just not going to happen. I'm really confused on what John Mara, Joe Shane, Brian Dable, what are these guys looking at in terms of Aaron Rodgers the last couple of years? And what do they think is going to really happen if they bring Rodgers in there to be the Giants quarterback? It's just not going to make sense to me. And of course, the noise right now about the quarterbacks in this draft class, Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, the top two names, but a couple more guys behind them. With the Giants at 3, there's a lot of noise about what Tennessee and Cleveland may do. They may not go quarterback. Maybe it's just going to be the Giants. Maybe Cleveland goes with a quarterback, and then the Giants follow up with the second choice there. What's going to happen for the New York Giants? That's a big question right now, but it cannot be Aaron Rodgers. It just can't be Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what they would be thinking if they bring in 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers after the couple of seasons that he's had in that same stadium. They've watched him. He's right there. The Jets have not been good. And obviously, Rodgers is coming towards the end of his career, not going to all of a sudden turn into MVP Aaron Rodgers once again. If it's a team maybe like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are really built up on defense, have a solid offense, the offensive line is good, and they want to fill in with Aaron Rodgers, I'm not saying that's going to win them a Super Bowl, but it could take them on a deep sort of run. They have a solid roster in the end. That would make a lot more sense than the New York Giants, who are probably going to go into full reboot and full rebuild mode anytime soon. And obviously that may not be now with guys like Joe Shane and Brian Dable staying for another year. Could be the season after that they just completely trade everybody and look for the future here in New York. But I mean, what a report that came out that the Giants have interest in Aaron Rodgers. And you know my thoughts on it. Stay away if you're the New York Giants. Would not be a good move, but obviously we'll see what happens. And like I said, the new league year for the NFL in a couple of weeks, and once that happens, Rodgers will become a free agent. So we'll see what happens there, but a lot of noise out of MetLife, especially about that earlier this week. Let's finish things off today with a college basketball update, and let's start off with Saturday's games, as it was a wild Saturday slate. Have to start off with the big one, and a monster win for the Tennessee Volunteers at number 5 in the nation. They take down number 6 Alabama. That one was played in Knoxville, but not just any other game. Jemai Meshack hits a long three-pointer at the buzzer, beats the buzzer, and knocks off number 6 Alabama. I mean, what a win overall for Tennessee it was, and one that Alabama looked like they had. They obviously had had the ball in their hands late in the fourth and looking for the win. Couldn't get it. Then they had a 5-second violation. Bad turnover for Alabama, and Tennessee makes them pay with Meshack's long three-pointer at the buzzer. And Tennessee gets a gritty, tough win on their home floor in Knoxville. Alabama had that lead at halftime, 42-38, but this one finishes 79-76, and the Volunteers move to 24-5 on the season. Couple more games as Auburn goes to Rupp Arena and just completely controls this game throughout. They take down Kentucky, a 94-78 win, and it looked like it was Auburn's game from the beginning. 49-34, they led this game at halftime and just controlled things in the second half. An easy win for Bruce Pearl's guys. And Miles Kelly, how about him in this one? What a game he had, and he had 30 to be exact for Auburn, and a great performance overall by the Tigers, the number one team in the country. As Florida gets a big win on their home floor, a ranked wins by 19, 89-70. They take down number 12 Texas A&M. And then you're looking at St. John's, who finally seals the deal on the Big East, and their first Big East title, first outright Big East title since 1985. And what happened all the way back then? It was Lou Carnesecca's St. John's, the 85 Final Four, and the St. John's Red Storm are playing phenomenal basketball right now. A bit of an ugly game that they played against Seton Hall, 71-61. They win it in the end, but give credit to Seton Hall. They made the game ugly, and strong defense by the Pirates there, but the Red Storm were able to get by and grab a huge win, and now they can settle things down just a little bit until they get ready for the Big East tournament in just a couple of weeks, and that one should have the Garden absolutely rocking with St. John's playing the basketball that they are right now. But they clinch an outright Big East title. What an achievement for Rick Pitino and his guys as they look for the last couple of games to end this regular season. Actually, just one more game for the regular season. They go to Marquette on the weekend, most likely going to play their guys and really just hope for no injuries there as they look towards the Big East tournament, like I said. So that's a big win for St. John's, and what a season they've had at MSG. The last couple of games here as some big wins, especially for Iowa State, who takes down Arizona 84-67. And the Cyclones get back in the win column. A couple of losses here and there in Big 12 play, but they figure out a way to find the win, and they win that one 84-67. Texas Tech goes on the road, knocks off Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse, and what a win it was for Texas Tech as they continue to roll in Big 12 play. But it was Houston who sealed the deal in the Big 12 and claimed the regular season title with a big win over Cincinnati, 73-64. And Houston with a deserved Big 12 title as they continue to find ways to win games. And then you look at Sunday's slate. What a game for Michigan State, a game that they were down in at halftime. And the second half was all Spartans, 39-28. They outscored number 11 Wisconsin, a 71-62 win for the Spartans. And they take a one-game lead in the Big Ten race as Michigan gets knocked off by 20 on their home floor. 62 points they let up in the second half, 93-73. Illinois, unranked, 19-11 on the year. They knock off number 15 Michigan in Ann Arbor, a 22-7 record for Michigan now, but they're 14-4 in Big Ten play versus Michigan State, their rivals, 15-3 record as we look ahead to next week's showdown, probably going to decide the Big Ten title as Michigan goes to Michigan State in East Lansing. What a game that'll be next weekend to cap off the Big Ten season as we look ahead towards conference tourneys, as this week is full of them. And what a week it's going to be of the madness that is March. As let's look at just quickly the last couple of days or the few days ahead. And obviously some action tonight with Duke in action taking on Wake Forest. Kansas goes to the Fertitta Center to take on number 3 Houston. And both those teams, Duke and Houston, should handle business there on their home floor. But then you finally look at tomorrow's games. Nothing much, just the big one of number 1 Auburn taking on number 2 Texas A&M on the road in College Station. That should be a great game. Finally, the last one, number 23 BYU taking on number 10 Iowa State at Hilton Coliseum. Both those games at 9 o'clock. And Auburn and Iowa State should handle business there, but not easy places to play in the SEC as well as the Big 12 specifically. So we'll see what happens, and Arizona finishes off the night with a rivalry matchup against Arizona State at 11 at the McHale Center in Tucson. So we'll see what happens, and obviously March is here. Stay tuned for all the action as this month rolls on, and March Madness Selection Sunday just under 2 weeks away. Very excited for that one. But that'll do it for episode 57 of the MudWatch Sports Podcast. Please subscribe below. I've been Zach Malaman. Thanks for watching, and talk to you all on Wednesday.